Have you ever had any challenge baking your meat pie, or you baked your meat pie and it did not come out right? This is the perfect video for you. In this video, I'll be teaching you how to perfectly bake the perfect meat pie that's suitable for your family, or you can use for any event as a snack. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chef Teelicious. So let me take you through the ingredients. We'll be making use of some flour. It has already been sifted. We're making use of some margarine. This is cold margarine, literally iced. I put my margarine in my freezer for it to get cold. One of the things you'll notice is that everything I'll be using here is cold. This is some eggs. I put them in the freezer like 15 minutes before I started. Some baking powder, some salt, some sugar, and finally some cold water. So it's very important that you use cold water, and you'll find out why. Hello guys. Alright, so first up, we're going to pieces our margarine into bits. This is to make the mixing process easier. Like I said, it's very important that you use cold ingredients. This will help give your meat pie that crusty outlook on the outside. Makes it really crusty and flaky. So to our flour, I'm going to add my baking powder, my salt, and mix that up together. I added very little of the salt, if you notice, because I realized margarine has a lot of salt. If you're using unsalted butter, then it's fine, but otherwise you can even skip. So I'll be using my stand mixer just to get the mixing process going. Moving on, I'll still get to use my hands, but if you use your hands from the beginning, it's totally fine. So I added my flour, which already has my salt and baking powder. Then I went in with my sugar and I mixed that up together. Then I'll go in with my butter or margarine, depending on the one you're using. If you're making in large quantity, I'll advise you use margarine, or if you're making for commercial purpose. But if you're doing it for the family, you can use butter, and that works well too. So I'm going to get that mixing up on not so high heat so that it doesn't scatter all around. The result of this is going to be that your dough is going to be, can you see, it's going to be crumbly, like all crumbled up like that. That's how you know that your butter and your flour has mixed. So I let that mix until all had thoroughly combined. Then I went in with my eggs in bits. All the ingredient list will be in the description down below, so do well to check it out. I let that mix until I'm sure that it has mixed well and it's giving me this texture that I want. Then I'm going to go ahead and transfer that to my working surface, because I would like to do the handwork better. Now, one of the things you want to know is that you do not mix your dough too much. Don't over mix your dough. You're not trying to bake a cake or trying to make a dough. So that way you come out with the best result. So these are some of the things that you need to note when you're mixing your dough for your meat pie in order to get the best combination. Next up, I'm going to start going in with my water. I'm using very cold water for this. Like I said, using very cold ingredients helps a lot, and I'll be adding it in bits. That way I can control the texture of, or the final result of my dough. Next, I'm going to transfer all of my dough my crumbled dough into a clean surface, and I'm going to start mixing. Now you can see that all of my doughs have not come together. So this is where I will be able to control the texture or the result of my dough. I'll be going in with cold water bit by bit. I'll be going in with cold water bit by bit, and I'll keep mixing. Now you can see what I'm actually trying to do is just trying to bring the dough together. Like I said, over mixing your dough is not something you want to do. So you're not trying to mix it as if you're mixing a dough for chin chin or something. You just want everything to come together. So I'm going in with my cold water. Don't forget, very cold water is in. You can use room temperature, but to get that crusty exterior, cold water does wonders for it. So I'll keep adding my cold water, and I keep mixing little by little until everything comes together. So after kneading and you've gotten this result, we're going to clean film our dough and put it in the fridge to chill for a bit. Now I'm going to tell you the mistake I made after this place that gave me a tough time, but till we get there, hope you're still following. All right, so this is my filling for my meat pie. I made this filling like 2 days before and refrigerated it. If you want a video, please comment below and I'll be sure to drop that. Now after about 15 minutes, my dough has rested and I brought it out and it was set to get working into. Now this is where the problem happened. Immediately I brought it out of the fridge, I was supposed to knead it, but you see what I did? I just started cutting. So I'm going to show you the challenges I encountered and what to do so you don't have to encounter the same problem. Then I started kneading. First wahala started. Now you want to always make sure you have extra flour so that you put it in between your wok and your so that it doesn't stick. Now I'm using the meat pie cutter, which makes it all easy. So I continued rolling. Roll. You want to roll until it's wide enough for it to cover your meat pie. Now can you see what's happening? My dough is tearing. Now let me tell you what happened. Immediately I brought out my dough from the fridge. I was supposed to knead it for like 2 minutes, before I started the whole process, but I just immediately started cutting. So that was why my dough was just tearing. So this is one thing I want to advise. If you have to keep your dough in the fridge for up to 2 minutes, make sure you knead it immediately you bring it out so that you don't have to go through all this process. And also from the last video you just saw, always make sure that you don't put too much of your filling into your dough so that it doesn't tear or pour. You want to put just enough, depending, because I'm using a mini cutter, so I'm just supposed to put just a little, and so that you can give it enough room to be able to close. That way you know that you're doing the right thing. Now let's see what I'm doing now. Hopefully after all the trials we'll get this one. So yay. I'm using my water is the binder. I'm just using water to brush the edge, and look at that pretty pie, guys. So this is exactly what you want to do. I repeated this process enough times so that you guys can see and you're familiar, so that by the end of this video there's no how you say you cannot be able to make your own meat pie filling. Now I'm rolling this. Like I said, always put some flour on your work surface so that it prevents sticking and all of that. You see, I suffered all of this whole tearing thing because of that mistake of not mixing my dough together. So I'm telling you, so you have to avoid it when doing that. And the idea of me putting it inside was just so that I have an extra flaky and crusty exterior on my dough. So I brushed the edges of my dough with water and then press it out, and look at our meat pie, guys. So you want to repeat this whole process. Like I said, I did enough of I went through this whole process like 5 times in this video, so you can always rewind if you need to watch it until I was able to exhaust all of my dough. We are done now, guys, and look at all of our dough. These are mini meat pies, and I was able to get up to like 30 or more of the pies from my mixture, and this is done. So the first thing I'm going to do after the whole process is I'm going to make cuts in it. Now you know there's this method where they use fork to just poke incisions on the dough. This is to give it space to be able to rise well, so that it doesn't burst open on the inside. But I decided to use it. I like using this method of just cutting it on the side. I like the design it gives it. So I'm just going to go through this process and cut them. I make 3 cuts, as you can see, on each pies beautifully like this. And once I'm done, I'm going to keep that up. So can you see our pies? Are they not beautiful already? Yes, they are, but we are not done yet. To give this a little shine, I'm going to break an egg and I'm going to mix that, and that will be what I'll be using for my shine. So I'm going to rub that on each of the pies. That is going to give it that brown effect and also that shiny gold, that sweet golden brown color by the time it's done baking. So I'm going to go through this process until I've exhausted all of my pies. So for the final step, we're going to put that into our oven and we're going to bake that. Guys, look at our meat pie. They are all ready to eat and consume, looking so beautiful and so yummy. I'm going to refrigerate this and microwave whenever I'm ready to eat. Now, if you notice a little bit of burst around the pies, it's just because those sides of the meat pie were not carefully covered. Like, they had little openings by the side. So you want to ensure that your meat pie is well covered, except for maybe the lines that we poke at the top to avoid any bursting. But other than that, we had a beautiful, a yummy and delicious meat pie. Look at the inside, all juicy and succulent, and we have our crusty flake. Let me know if you'll be recreating this recipe and drop all of your questions in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer that. Can I take this moment to appreciate every amazing subscriber on this channel? We are over 700 plus, and my aim is to get to 1K before my next birthday, which is in October, and my channel will be 1 year by then. So if you've not subscribed, please kindly do so, and I would really appreciate that. So I actually packaged a little bit for my neighbor and he was so happy to receive them. Bye guys.